Hi friends, welcome to the analysis of Civil Services Main Mock 8 that is based on the General Studies paper 4. Friends, as all of you know that General Studies paper 4 is totally about ethics, integrity and aptitude. This paper is intended to test the candidate's attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probity in public life and his problem solving approach by using different methodology. Other conflicting issues of society and providing a remedy and solution or remedies for those. So erstwhile more we'll discuss the sectional breakup of different topics and subjects. Here we can see that this question paper has two questions based on ethics and human interface. For these two questions, the total marks were 35. On the basis of the attitude and aptitude, the questions can be categorized or questions can be numbered into two, fetching 40 marks for attitude and aptitude. Fundamental values for civil services. 5 questions were based on this topic and the total marks for this topic was 85. Ethical concerns and dilemma. There were total 3 questions for 45 marks. Probity in governance, 2 questions, 25 marks, and a single question was based on work culture. For that there were 20 marks. In this way we can see there were total 15 questions. For those 15 questions the maximum marks were 250. So after the sectional breakup of the question paper, we'll discuss the each and every question in short and in brief. Okay friends, let us start from question number 1. Question number 1 is all about the topic that is clearly mentioned in the syllabus of paper 4 of UPSC Civil Services Examination. This question is all about empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker sections. The maximum marks for this question were 20, while the word limit of this question was 250. The question is resilience and benevolence towards the weaker sections is one of the integral part of the fundamental values of the civil services. Discuss the statement with relevant examples. Now, in this discussion or in this analysis, we will discuss only the key points and the frame of the answer. Since you are provided with a model answer, so it would be definitely a wastage of time and effort since the examination is around the corner. If we read the total question and total explanation in detail, this question has 2 or 3 important points. How the resilience and benevolence is related with empathy, compassion, tolerance, and how it is guided by the fundamental values of civil services. After this approach, we will come to some examples. The examples are driven from our constitutional structure, social democratic structure of India, different social evils. Since India is a welfare state, hence there are a lot of provisions related with resilience and benevolence towards weaker sections. When we talk about the weaker and vulnerable sections, then it includes the minors, the minority community, women, children, and scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other depressed and downtrodden classes and community of the society. So, first of all, when we talk compassion, what is compassion? Compassion is the oneness of the mental suffering in terms of feeling. When we feel the suffering of any person, then we can say that there is a compassion in our thought and behavior towards him or his. This is compassion. Then, compassion is the feeling of empathy. Compassion, along with empathy, produces tolerance. So, we have to divide the question on the basis of key points, discuss key points, and then find a conclusion that could be a model answer. Okay, now come to question number 2. Question number 2 is a total about case study. Since it is clearly mentioned in question paper that there will be case studies on different issues, means there will be different kind and types of case studies based on different issues which are mentioned in syllabus. The case study can be divided into different parts based on the nature of the question. It must be based on essence and determinants of ethics, human behavior, human values, attitude, aptitude, probity in governance, ethical norms, work culture, etc. Here in this question it is mentioned that suppose you are a dean of a university and your university is a home to different students belonging to different communities and religion. There is a problem that there is a curriculum which has been developed and there is some examination, but the problem is that the day there is an examination is the worship day for a community. So what could be your most plausible and most compatible decision in this situation? When such type of question comes, then it is about the decision making or the problem solving approach on various issues. Here the question demands that religious beliefs should be recognized because there is a fundamental right, that is the freedom of religion, and India being liberal, constitution has showed its liberal and soft structure in such terms. So this question demands that how we are tolerant or how we are soft and liberal in conceding or respecting the religious or other beliefs of any other society. In this way, finding a solution would be that recognizing religious belief of the other communities, we can arrange some alternative methods and measures. Question 3 is very simple and straight question, in which this question is based on some famous personality, and there are the two personalities mentioned here. They are Mother Teresa, her role in bringing or the impact she created in the life of destitute and the suffering people. Undoubtedly, she worked like a saint, got Nobel Prize, got Bharat Ratna. So this is not a case study, very simple and very easy question, and based on biography of famous personalities. This description of any famous personality reflects that how the particular person imbibed the basic philosophy of humanity in his or her life. That is only to be mentioned here. The second part of this question is a short note on the life and dynamism of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, how he has a recognition of father of constitution, or how he helped in the upliftment of the untouchables, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, etc. This question is of 120 words only, but the marks allotted are uh, with a huge weight, that is 20 marks are for 125 words. Question 4 is again a case study, and in this case study is again problem solving approach. We have to discuss a problem solving approach using emotional intelligence concept in administration and governance. The case is that assume a person diagnosed with an enervating chronic disease, and he is absent from the office for a long period of time, resulting the missing deadline because he is not meeting the deadline. Moreover, his suffering is not limited here only. If he is terminated or suspended or penalized, since he is the only bread earner of his family will also suffer. And the second part of this question means you have a choice here, that the corporate social responsibility. Again, when we talk about case study regarding Azim, though it is based on the emotional intelligence and the values of emotional intelligence, its implication in public and private governance or system, but the solution is drawn from the basic tenets of the compassion and empathy, because he is suffering from a chronic disease. The employer or the corporation must try to arrange an alternative workplace for him, medical benefits, and any other peripheral remedy or measures which could cut the loss or which could use the available capacity of Azim. Apart from that, some medical counseling is also needed for the morale boost up and psychological support, and then you have to take any decision. And when we come to the next question or the next part of this question itself, relationship between the corporate social responsibility and profitability, then we have to support corporate social responsibility in this answer, but nonetheless that we have to decline the profitability, because when the word is corporate, then corporate word is itself having its meaning with profitability. We can give examples like recent norms, regulation by Companies Act and the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which has issued that every corporate company must spend at least 2% of its profit on social responsibility. We have many examples. Suppose we talk about Tata Group. They are financing lot of social projects. So the conclusion would be that we have to support the corporate social responsibility in the light of the profitability, but the profitability must be uh, overshadowed in the concept of social responsibility. Question 5 is about ethical norms. Question 5 reads, at the certain ethical guidelines should be formulated to regularize the media towards serving the larger interest of people rather than few influential and powerful groups. This is the value and ethical point in media, because media is also a free component or free pillar of democracy. So if there are norms for people, norms for executive, norms for other bodies which give a pillar to democracy, why not for media? We have seen that media many times, media crosses its responsibility arena and to produce some sensational issues, it uses some unethical practices also. So considering responsibility, freedom of the press and independence, etc., impartiality, it is necessary that there must be some regulating norms for media also. Now come to question number 6. Question 6 is that several ethical dilemmas are involved regarding the concern for the sustainability of ecosystem health as well as of the institutions which deal with such issues. Analyze the statement. Here, what's the problem? The problem is related with the ethical dilemmas. Ethical, where there is dilemma weakens the decision making power. So the ethical dilemmas which are involved in sustainability of ecosystem health, it can be discussed into following topics. They are based on, the topics must be sustainability, responsiveness, accountability, capacity building and other issues also. So first of all, the ethical dilemmas which are concerned in ecosystem health as well as such institutions, then we see that what is the cause of such dilemmas. Primarily reason we find that here the lack of transparency lack of sense of accountability, poor capacity building, and asymmetrical distribution of responsibilities are mainly major cause of such dilemmas. Now question 7 has two parts, 250 words for both parts and 20 marks combined. Question 7 part A is about a case study, part B is also about a case study, but the approach of both case studies are different. Part A says that Ramesh works in an organization. He has been asked to give an explanation for not attending an important official meeting. His immediate boss did not inform him about the meeting. However, he is now pressurizing Ramesh. Do not place any allegation against him. What course of action should Ramesh pursue and why? Again, problem solving approach and decision making in the view of the ethical norms and work culture. So, what would be the proper way in which Ramesh must respond? In a single line, Ramesh must inform to his senior personnel that he was not informed of the official meeting and he was innocent. But if he falls prey under pressure of his senior or immediate boss, it's quite possible that his immediate boss could use him as a bait in future. So in this situation, Ramesh must clearly explain the situation to the body which is asking about his absentee in the official meeting. Now come to part B. Part B is that Joginder Singh works in an office. On instructions from his seniors, Mr. Singh told his assistant Sumit to prepare a proposal approving construction plans for a resort on the sea coast. Sumit notices that a substantial part of the resort is falling within the coastal regulatory zone. Moreover, stipulations regarding CRZ do not seem to have been taken into account in the proposal. When he brings this to Joginder Singh's notice, Mr. Singh gets irritated and says, "Are you trying to teach me law? What course of action should Sumit pursue and why?" Situation is different, but the condition is the similar. Ethical values and course of action following work culture. Definitely anybody can know law and anybody can implement the law. These are the implications of uh, a course of action. So if it is not fair, if it is not fair to bring the matter to notice of the environment department, as per the view of Sumit senior Joginder Singh, still Sumit must bring this matter to the notice of environment department and his seniors, because public officials are expected to act in the public interest, and this particular case is a violation of coastal regulatory zone. Question 8. enlist the advantages of bioethics, discuss the contributions made by bioethics in the field of medicine, and also explain how bioethics can play a role in tackling the problem of biopiracy, or evaluate the contributions of Jyotiba Phule in advancing the cause of women as well as the weaker sections of the country. First part first of this question falls under ethics, bioethics. Here is some introduction about term bioethics. Bioethics is ethical norms in the field of biology. Biology means using biology, use of life science in different fields of humanity like space and other implications of the technology in the field of life science, and what could be the ethical aspect of those norms, that is the bioethics. Suppose clinical trials, piracy, biopiracy, wrong clonings, etc., wrong genetic modifications, theft regarding copyright or IPR issues. These all are cases of bioethics. If in the system there would be the bioethics, we can curb the practice of biopiracy. And following the curbing of biopiracy, we can conserve the natural heritage of any particular country, region, or community. The next part is about contributions of Jyotiba Phule. Again, a question based on a personality, very easy and famous question. He founded Satya Shodhak Samaj and led a movement against the anti-Brahmin dominated society, and he tirelessly worked for the girls' education. So these are some contribution of Jyotiba Phule. Question number 9 is again a case study. In first part, it is about person, that you are a owner of a firm and an employee named Sohail is the head of the recruitment of cell of a company with an employment contract. The contract requires him to work solely for a company and use his talents to attract new clients to the business. But he has drawn in more clients than can be reasonably handled, so Sohail starts diverting that excess business elsewhere and taking the commission for that service. What would be your response to the issue when it comes before you? Give a suitable explanation in support of your answer. First of all, what Sohail is doing that is unethical, and he is calling more person for interview, and he is not ready to absorb them all, then he is diverting them to another organization. It means he is doing all these activities deliberately. So first of all, tell him that it is unethical practices. These all are unethical practices. Fix him some number, that number of employees must be called for interview for recruitment, and lest all be neglected. Still, if he is not practicing or not following, then you can take some harsh action against him also. The next part is the role of family, society, and educational institutions in inculcating values in humans. So again, a very social question, the role of family. It is said that the family is the first school. how a person can inculcate the values, laws, rules, regulations, and concepts of source as ethical guidance, and how family can provide these principles to a person. Family is a very important institution of the society. After that, it comes the educational institutions. They create the pillars for future. So the role of family and educational institutions are very important. Writing such questions, you can try some quotations also, some famous quotations or some famous saying of any person. If you remember, then please enlist them, because such questions are very generalized, very subjective. Everybody attempts these questions, so it depends on all about your uh, creativity. Question 10: evaluate the role of laws, rules, regulations, and concepts as source of ethical guidance in public service. Again, very subjective, very generalized question. You can write thousands of words on these topics. Definitely, role of laws, rules, regulation, and concepts as source of ethical guidance is very important. They have all very important rule. What you have to discuss? Just uh, just define that what does mean by law, what does it mean by rules, how they are interrelated, and how they guide the actions of a person in ethical norms. That could be a standard structure of the answer. Come to question number 11. With regard to the ethical human conduct, discuss the teachings of Gautam Buddha or emphasize the contribution of Dr. Varghese Kurian in the socio-economic development of the country, I think. So first of all, here the questions is as generalized, as simple as anyone. The question is based on again some personalities, and if you have read history, you all know that Gautam Buddha or his teaching, you all know about his teachings and his life history. The most important to discuss is his noble eightfold path. That is the basic philosophy of his teachings. The eightfold paths were right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. If we'll concentrate on these eightfold paths, we'll find that all human and ethical behaviors could be controlled following all these paths only. Okay, now it comes Dr. Varghese Kurian. So, Dr. Varghese Kurian, father of white revolution or milkman of India, founder of the Amul in Gujarat and National Dairy Development Board in 1965, developed the Anand model nationwide. A Padma Vibhushan awardee, writer of a book I Too Have a Dream, a Raymond Magsaysay awardee, etc. His contribution in Operation Flood. Question 12. What do you mean by the Citizens Charter? Discuss its role in improving work culture and quality of service delivery in an organization. Citizen Charter, Lokpal, Public Ombudsman, these all are hot topics right now. Then what is charter? Charter is a written document which represents a systematic approach to focus on certain norms and regulations. and citizen charter is very helpful improving the work culture. Some qualities of the citizen charter are also mentioned here. Question 13. People often change their behavior in response to social pressure from a group or a figure of authority. In this context, discuss how social influence and persuasion influence the attitude. So, what is social influence? Social influence is defined and identified by Harvard psychologist Herbert Kellman in three different broad ways. They are compliance, identification, internalization. Social influence, according to Harvard psychologist Herbert Kellman, identified three broad varieties of social influence. They are compliance, that is the appearance of people to agree with others, or how the people agree to other people, or how a person is agreed to other person. Then the identification of the ideas and internalization of the ideas, belief or behavior. Persuasion is again an influence followed by communication. Question 14. What are the public service values? Why are values important for civil services? One of the most important question of this question paper or to mock. What are the public service values and why they are necessary for a civil services aspirant or candidate or officer? A question on public administration. Public value is a value appreciated by the people, done for the welfare of the people in accountable and legitimate manner. Values can be categorized as accountability, legitimacy, public interest, sense of mission, integrity and honesty, fearlessness, courage, spirit of service and sacrifice, delivery of services, etc. And public values are very important because these all are basic guide of the services. Question 15, again a case study. Ankit is a college student and you are his project guide. He is taking some classes in another department of the university that requires written essays. Ankit asks you to proofread his essay before he submits it. You routinely cross-check his work and discover that many parts of work have been taken from internet verbatim with no quotation marks or citation. What are you supposed to do? Suggest a course of action to monitor the future behavior of Sumit without irreparably damaging his career. A case of plagiarism. First course of action would be that I'll suggest Sumit not to submit that essay, and if he has to submit that essay, then at least used a reference or citation, or if possible he could remove the controversial topics or the topics which has been copied from the internet. That would be the definite course of action. So friends, this was all about paper 4, very generalized and very subjective paper. All the best for future examination. Thank you so much.